Alright, hello everyone, welcome back. Today, we have a brand new chapter of Boruto to go over. We have Boruto chapter 19. Konohamaru-chan is the name of the chapter. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just do a really quick recap of it. There's really one main thing I want to talk about here, and that is, I believe they may have actually dropped what might end up being the key to defeating the Senju tree clones. Like Jura, Hidari, the Bug clone, and the Moegi clone. So that's the main thing I want to talk about. So we're just going to go ahead and quickly recap the rest of the chapter, because the rest of it is mainly a fight. And then we'll talk about that specific plot point that they dropped. So to start with, chapter starts off the flashback between Shinki and Arya, as we see that Arya's sword and how Shinki actually put a jutsu on it that allows it to control the iron sand just as he does. So this is basically just explaining on why Arya has a blade that can control or seal the iron sand. So we see him use the sword to help get the sand off of Mitsuki that was restraining him. And then the group of Arya, Yodo, Sarada, and Mitsuki proceed to take on Ryu using this blade. So using the blade, Arya is able to protect everyone from any attacks, which allows Mitsuki and Sarada to go on the offense. Sarada attacks with a fireball jutsu, but is actually just a distraction as Mitsuki pops up and uses his snakes to entangle Ryu, preventing him from being able to move. And then we get to see Mitsuki. He's actually already in his Sage mode. He is not playing around, which I'm glad to see that he instantly went into the mode here, as we can see. And I also like that his headband didn't actually fly off. I kind of thought with his design that when he goes Sage mode, his headband would just fly off his head or something. But no, they actually just let it fall around his neck, which I think is really cool. He looks cool with the headband. I appreciate it, so I'm glad they did that. But yeah, Mitsuki uses Sage mode. He traps Ryu. But Ryu, in order to get away from Mitsuki and his snakes from attacking him, he transforms himself into the iron sand, basically flying away into the wind, allowing him to escape from Mitsuki's snakes that are trapping him. So because of this, they're not able to attack him. And Yodo, for some reason, I feel like she would be able to recognize this, but she actually was confused, not knowing what happened there. And Arya basically just tells everyone to be careful. He might try to control the bodies again using iron sand. And Yoda is able to pick up on Ryu, saying that he's at the 2 o'clock position, that's where he's trying to gather up his sand. So Arya, using the blade, forces Ryu to emerge as he controls all the iron sand, forces it together, making Ryu form his body once more. And Mitsuki instantly attacks him. His snakes grab a bite of him. They actually managed to get a couple bites in on him. They got a bite around his stomach, on his side, his arms, the top of his neck. They got him all over the place. Leaving Ryu with some pretty nice damage. Like, he definitely looks hurt in that panel from that bite that he got. And Sarada instantly jumps into the action, activating her Sharingan, not the Mangekyo, just the normal Sharingan, and using Chidori to instantly put a hole into the side of Ryu here, right on his side. Big damage here, very reminiscent to when she first used Chidori in a fight from pre-time skip. But despite all that, Ryu just forms back into the iron sand and dissipates into the air. Yodo once again asking, "Did we get him?" And Sarada saying, "No, it was too shallow. He just turned himself into iron sand again." And Arya basically just says, "It's fine, I can get him. Well, it's fine, I can basically force him to show back up." We then cut back to Konohamaru and Miyogi's tree clone. Basically, they're still fighting about how Konohamaru should be addressed by her. Matsuri is basically saying, "Why can't I call you Konohamaru-chan?" Konohamaru's like, "It doesn't feel right." Matsuri is upset because Miyogi can call him that, but she can't. And Konohamaru is just being very confused. He's like, "Why are you getting so upset about this? Why are you being so fussy about it?" And she takes that very harshly and calls him a hypocrite, saying that he's the picky one, calling him Saratobi. Then we cut to Ada, who is telling Kashikoji and Boruto are keeping updates or sending updates to them about how the fight is going. She basically just says the others are holding their own with Ryu. It's too early to tell how things will go. But Konohamaru, yeah, he's about to get eaten. And Boruto, upon hearing this, instantly grabs his sword, but Koji tells him, don't, now's not the time for you to try this. And we cut to Jura, who drops the plot point that I was talking about. So basically, Jura goes into a speech here to the rest of the Senju clones, telling them that, in his opinion, life forms should only obey their instincts to strive towards the goal known as evolution. Yet, because of social nature, humans restrain themselves with something called reasoning, which prevents their instinct. It's a harmful side effect of acquiring intelligence, and it's why humankind carries a fatal flaw. Unlike us trees who stay true to our instincts. So very interesting line here. How Jura sees reasoning. Jura sees reasoning as a weakness. And he thinks that instinct is the only, the only strength a individual or species can have. Because Jura's instinct is to devour the Ototsukis. Like, that is the Senju clone's instinct. Because they were originally part of the Ten Tails, and the Ten Tails' instinct was to swallow or devour the Ototsuki to turn into a divine tree. So it's very interesting to see that Jura, despite all the intelligence he has gained, as he's definitely the most intelligent out of the Senju clones in my opinion so far, especially when we see him constantly grabbing more and more books. Like, even in this panel here, he's holding a book as he's talking about, or as he's delivering this speech. So despite all that, Jura still believes that instinct is the true strength, and that intelligence only weakens you technically by giving you reasoning. And Bug basically says that he understands how he feels bad for humans that they have to deal with that, or he doesn't feel bad, but he calls humans, he basically is taking pity on humans for having to deal with that, but he says that has nothing to do with us though, Jura. And Jura says that's not so fast, because that's not the only harmful effect of intelligence. The other concept that carries with it a risk that even us divine trees can have problems with. Love. Jura says that love is the other issue against divine trees, or just an issue of having intelligence. So we cut back to Matsuri and Konohamaru, and Matsuri is basically telling him that my head is so full of thoughts of you, it's driving her insane. She doesn't understand why she has these feelings, but it's painful and it's making her go crazy. And she says that if she devours Konohamaru, she'll never have to feel that way again. We cut back to Jura, who is talking about his previous encounter with the Ino Shikacho trio and Himawari from their fight earlier in the series. And he talks about how the trio each of them are an accomplished shinobi in their own right. But instead, they prioritize Himawari's safety over their own team. And what he finds shocking about this is that he knows that Ino Shikacho understood how bad of a decision that was to protect Himawari the way that they did. He says that in particular, Inojin lost his composure and ended up dying for it. So both of these acts were caused by love derailing their thinking. Now, I will say this. I don't think Inojin's actually dead. I guess Jura doesn't know that he's still alive, because as far as I understand, Inojin was in serious trouble still, but he wasn't dead. And I don't think he's gonna be dead, so pretty sure he's still in the hospital. He's not dead. I think this is just Jura assuming he's dead. Because, I mean, let's be fair. He seemed pretty dead. Especially when Jura was there. So, just want to put that out there in case anyone wants to jump the gun and say that Inojin died in the hospital. No, I'm pretty sure this is just Jura assuming. But now we go to Hidari, who says, so what is this love? Is it a disease? And Jura says that the term itself appears in many of my books, but it seems impossible to pin it down. At the very least, the fact that it can cause serious trouble in life forms cannot be overlooked. And Jura continues to say, I'm sure you hear it too, our instincts screaming and warning that we must understand this dangerous concept, love, and overcome it. So it seems like love might be the weakness of these Sinju clones. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, love? Like, how can that be the weakness? But we're already seeing how much of a negative impact it's having on Matsuri, where she's not able to, like, think straight, and she's kind of getting herself put in a bad situation. Like, well, okay, I don't know if you can call it a bad situation, because I'm more than positive Matsuri can probably kill Konohamaru here if she really wants to. But she's talking about how love is basically messing with her brain and stuff, and Jura is talking about how love could possibly cause them to derail from their innate instinct. So, is it possible that love will be what causes some of these tree clones to not carry out their internal instinct? I feel like what happens near the end of the chapter kind of supports my theory a little bit more. So let's continue on before we come back to this topic. So going back to the Ryu fight, we see that Arya is trying to drag Ryu back out with the blade, which he manages to, and it turns out that Ryu is above them. And while he's above them, Ryu summons a ton of claw grimes out of his body to attack them all. Mitsuki uses his snakes to try to intercept them before they hit the ground. Sarada tries to blow some of them out of the air with her Phoenix Flower Jutsu, but unfortunately, Ryu is just spawning more and more of these tree clones, the claw grimes. They end up surrounding Yodo, and right before she gets bit, Arya goes to protect her with his blade. But when he slices at the claw grime, his blade gets stuck in it. And when it's stuck in it, Ryu instantly takes the action, grabs the claw grime that has Arya's blade stuck in him, and throws him into another claw grime, causing him to teleport out of the area. And with it, he took Arya's blade. So now with the blade out of the way, the trio has lost their one way of being able to take away Ryu's Iron Sand. We cut back to Konohamaru and Matsuri as we see one last shot of her preparing to devour Konohamaru here right at the very end. As she now tells him, "Let's now become one, Konohamaru-chan." And that is the end of the chapter. So, going back to what I believe is the most important plot point in this chapter, love. Now, if love is what Jura is saying, it's because Jura was talking about how reasoning derails a species or a life form from following their innate instinct, right? And he also says that love is the same way. So could it be possible that Matsuri, even though she has Konohamaru basically dead to right here, there's really no position to fight back. Is it possible that Matsuri is not going to be able to devour Konohamaru due to the fact that Moegi loves him? Would it be possible for her original will, for her love for him, to be able to stop Matsuri's innate instincts right before she completes the devouring process? I believe that might be where we're heading, where Matsuri is not able to control herself, and we see some of the original personality of Moegi come out and possibly help Konohamaru gain the upper hand here. Because the way Jura talks about it, it really does feel like love might end up becoming the thing that is needed to defeat the Sinju, or at least some of them. Because at the very beginning of the chapter, when we're going over, let's see here. When we're going over, let me go back to the beginning, how Arya got his blade, and how Shinki infused it with his chakra, so that way he can control the Iron Sand. Shinki said that the reason why he did this is to help him train better, because it'd be a handicap against him when he's training against Arya. And it's to help get him stronger for the purpose of protecting his father better, Gaara in this instance. That's why Shinki wants everyone in his trio to be as strong as possible. And basically Arya tells him, father this, father that. All you talk about is Gaara. And Shinki says, well, what's wrong with that? And Arya tells him, you should pay Yodo some attention as well. And Shinki just tells him, so who's a hypocrite now? All you talk about is Yodo. And Arya says that it's not like that. So there's two things here. One, does Yodo, I'm assuming, I don't remember if they're siblings. I don't think this trio is siblings. I don't think they are. But if they are, this completely throws this theory out the window. But for right now, off the top of my head, I don't remember if they're siblings. I'm pretty sure they're not, though. So let's just go ahead and go into this theory that Yodo has a crush or likes, loves, whatever you want to call it, Shinki. And it seems like Arya also likes Yodo, with the way Shinki said, who's a hypocrite now, all you talk about is Yodo, and Arya saying that it's not like that. So maybe Arya likes Yodo, so we kind of got like a triangle thing going on here, but like basically, if love really is the thing that can possibly cause issues here with the Senju clones, is it possible that Matsuri gets defeated by her love for Konohamaru, causing her to hesitate on acting on her instinct to devour him, and that Ryu gets defeated because his love for his friends in Arya and Yodo, or maybe his actual love for Yodo that he didn't realize yet, could possibly cause him to hesitate and not act on his instinct as well here in these fights? I know I'm making kind of a broad stretch here, but I really do feel like the way that they were talking about love in this chapter, I feel like love is going to be a very huge part in taking out some of these clones. And who's another clone that could possibly have a lot of love for someone? Hidari. I think at the least, this confirms that Sarada will be, in my opinion, this confirms that Sarada will be the one to take out Hidari. And it's going to be, the reason why Hidari will lose that fight is because of Sasuke's love for Sarada. I really do believe this at least confirms that is the route they're going to go here. It just seems kind of crazy to me that they would mention this and have Jura talk about love in this fashion if they don't intend to have it be the downfall for some of the Senju clones. So I'm assuming we're going to see it a couple times. I don't think it'll be the end for all of them though, because I don't know how you would find a way for Jura to love someone unless maybe Jura will fall in love with the planet itself and not want to destroy it, even though that's technically what his instinct is to do with it becoming a divine tree. Because maybe with all the books and stuff that Jura is reading and how Jura has already shown that he respects like the Hidden Leaf traditions and stuff, with how he enters the village and doesn't instantly blow everything up, despite the fact that he knows that they're enemies with each other. So maybe Jura ends up falling in love with the planet or human life in general, but maybe Jura's love for the planet will be misplaced, and that's why instead of saving it, he thinks he needs to destroy it to save it. Okay, now I'm going off on a completely different tangent, but yeah, what I'm saying is, like, for Jura, I don't think love, unless they'll have to build it up, but at least right now, I don't think Jura would be susceptible to love being his end. I feel like his downfall would be caused by reasoning, since that's what he was talking about at first, how it's a downfall of intelligence, and Jura has basically become the most intelligent out of the clones so far. And then Bug, I don't know who Bug would love, so I don't think love would really apply to him either, unless his love for Ada? I don't know, because, I mean, he did pick Ada to devour, but I don't know, I think that's a stretch, so I don't think it'll work on them, but I do think love will at least be the undoing of Hidari, at least. Ryu and Matsuri, I'm not sure yet, but it does seem like for Matsuri, that might be where we're heading. And then Ryu, who knows? Ryu can still take a lot of different ways here in terms of how this fight goes. But I do feel a lot more confident now that even though it seems like Matsuri has the upper hand and Konohamaru is completely outplayed here, I do feel like at least by the end of this fight, Matsuri will end up being defeated. At least one of them are going down. But I feel like right now Matsuri is the bigger suspect of going down. I think Ryu might end up finding a way out of this. If anything, maybe Matsuri is defeated, but Yodo or Arya is taken as a tree clone. Maybe that could happen. I don't know. It will be interesting to see. I'm very interested to see where this take this plot line. I might be overestimating how big this might be, but I don't know. It really does feel like love is going to be a big factor. Because, I mean, love has already been kind of a factor, a huge factor in this series. I mean, a lot of the events that happened, the biggest event that happened, the whole placement switch between Boruto and Kawaki basically happened out of Kawaki's love for Naruto. So it's not like love hasn't already been a huge part of the series. So it'll be interesting to see how it continues to evolve, especially with the tree clones. But let me know down below what you guys think about this theory, or what you think, if how big love might be a potential threat here to the Senju, as Juro's making it out to be. Overall, very, very happy with the chapter. Very happy. In terms of what I think will happen next chapter, I really do think, even though it does look like Konohamaru is cooked here, like, I can't lie, Konohamaru looks like he is cooked. I do believe by the next chapter, by the end of it, Konohamaru will have the upper hand against Matsuri, or Matsuri is going to be on the retreat for some reason. I don't know what's going to happen with Ryu and the gang. That is a very interesting fight. I like the way the fight has been going so far, with seeing Mitsuki go into Sage mode, Sarada being able to land that Chidori on him, Arya showing off with the blade. It's a very good fight so far. So I'm interested to see how it goes now that the blade is gone. We'll have to wait and see. They're going to have to rely on lightning jutsu here to kind of neutralize the Iron Sand, or at least somewhat counter it, but I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, they do have two really good users of lightning jutsus with Sarada and Mitsuki, so I don't think it's a complete wash yet, but I'll have to wait and see. I still don't think Boruto is going to be involved. I feel like him getting told to back down again in this chapter really confirms the fact that, yeah, Boruto is not getting involved in this fight, which in my opinion is kind of needed, because so far a lot of Two Blue Vortex has been Boruto showing up for every fight. So even though I love Boruto and I would love him to be in every fight, at the same time, I think it is important for there to be fights without him. And it seems like they're willing to stick to that idea, at least for now. There's still a chance that Boruto might end up teleporting here last minute. But as we are told, if Boruto shows up, then Juro will show up and kill him. So I'm assuming no Boruto for this fight. I'm thinking we still got at least 3 more chapters of this to see where this goes. But otherwise, like I said earlier, very happy. Let me know down below what you guys thought about the chapter. If you think love is going to be as big of an issue as I think it is. And other than that, I will see you all next month for the next Boruto chapter. Have a good rest of your day / night. Happy reading, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.